as I looked at the different tactics we could talk about, I bubbled to the surface the three that I felt like are the most obvious ways for your organization to benefit from top performers. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you need to go invest in da-da-da-da, or you need to have more resources. That's what you should do, because that's not a reality for most organizations. It's not going to happen. You don't have more time, and you don't have more resources to throw at this. So what are some insights and takeaways that we can learn from top performers to make sure that we can optimize with the current environment? So number one, I think that top performers use personalization sparingly. And, again, going off this medical theme, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. A poundful of sugar gives you a diabetic seizure. I mean, the point is personalization is powerful if it's used appropriately. And I'll give you some examples because you can go too far, and the benefits do not outweigh the level of personalization that you've executed on. And this is an example from my inbox of a company. So when I fill out white papers and things and I'm reading, I will sometimes say Ian, not a prospect, so that salespeople don't know. I don't fault them for this, but if they were scrubbing their database, they'd have caught that and deleted Ian, not a prospect. But I think the other thing that I want to point out here is down at the bottom. I was asked to fill out a form to get this white paper, and one of the drop-downs was a technology choice. It said, what technology are you using for X, fill in the blank. And they clearly used that field as a personalization field in their email. So it said, act now and lock in 6 months as well as a year of heavy discounted pricing, 50% lower than, and it should have said a technology. Now, they didn't think through the fact that other was an option there, and when they personalize this campaign, other shows up in people's email. So I think it's really about thinking through and being very diligent about what you are capturing from prospects and customers, and making sure that when you personalize off of it, that it's quality data that can be used for that kind of engagement. The second example I give is about making assumptions. And about a year ago, I was buying a purse for my wife online, and I went to, and I won't name the retailer. I didn't use their images here. I just kind of pulled generic images from Google, but it's a very well-known high-end retailer. And I went online to buy a purse, and I had to fill out. I was traveling. I had to fill out a form, and filled out my information. They didn't ask if I was a Mr. or a Mrs. And I have repeatedly been getting personalized offers for a female, and consistently in my inbox. Now, I may buy another present for my wife, and maybe that was a tactic there, but I think the point is, they really should have asked, are you a male or a female? And people buy presents, and especially in retail. And, first of all, if you're going to ask, use it. I mean, don't ask for information that you're not going to use in personalization. That's even more knowing to people. But, the good news is my leopard striped stilettos match my jeans on a Friday night. But, the point is, you got to be thinking about asking the right information if you're going to personalize in the right way. And kind of jumping back into that whole notion of, well, top performers are more likely to personalize. They're more likely to say, yeah, we're using regularly or frequently or we rarely use some of these tactics. If we focus down on the bottom here, behavioral segmentation, one field merge in the database, and personalized email close from a salesperson, for example, in a B2B environment, saying, this is your sales rep, and here's a personalized note from them. Definitely, top performers are more likely to do it, but they don't overuse it. And I think what we look at when we see this is showing top performers and mid-sized organizations. And one of the things that we definitely see is top performers were more likely, again, to my point about them using kind of basic personalization techniques, product or service offering, and personalizing a campaign based on that, or subscription information or demographic information. We can see it in the data. Organizations need to do a better job at this. The average mid-sized organization does okay, but could do a far better job personalizing with basic techniques. And I want to present, this is just a conceptual framework. There's no statistics behind this, but one of the things, just in having discussions with organizations that cited they were top performers, I heard a lot of marketers say, well, we did, there's benefits to personalizing a salutation, and as we moved up, we did some demographic segmentation, but there's kind of a diminishing return on personalization. And I think the great news for all organizations here is if you're just sending generic mass email marketing campaigns, you can improve your performance immediately by personalizing a salutation. And again, you can improve your performance immediately by demographic segmentation or behavioral segmentation using triggers. But this doesn't have to get crazy. You don't have to open Pandora's box here and personalize everything to generate the benefits that a top performer generates. The second highly effective habit of top performers is willingness to try new things. These companies are testing, they're doing trials, they're executing campaigns, and they're learning what works and what doesn't work. And this quote here, I don't know who Elbert Hubbard is, but I like his quotes. And the greatest mistake you can make in life is to be continually fearing you will make one. And it's just really about taking that leap, and you might make a mistake. You might personalize the wrong field. You might have other in there when you're trying to say, technology that you're trying to fill in. But you're trying, and you're going to optimize, and you're going to learn over time. And the only reason I can sit here and talk about this statistics with you, or these research statistics, is because we see organizations that were more likely to take the risk. And if we look at value drivers, again, they're really focused on testing and measurement and measuring everything possible in their process and optimizing that process. And the final highly effective habit of a top-performing organization is automation. It's about automating customer engagement. It's really impossible to be relevant, reactive, reputable, those 3 R's, with every customer. You can't do it manually. Mr. Marketer's not going to be able to sit there and execute really personalized campaigns manually. So increased personalization demands increased automation. I mean, that's the reality that we're faced with. So personalized engagement based on customer behavior. Put those triggers in there and the business rules that allow you to engage prospects with a personal interaction. Automate customized content so you can set it and forget it. Create a few demographic pieces of content or copy that can be used to execute over and over again when you start to identify those prospects and roles. And then more importantly, link marketing channels. I think this goes to, and I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, the idea between multi-channel engagement and cross-channel engagement. And the difference is 9 out of 10 organizations do multi-channel engagement, and that is delivering campaigns across one or more channels. I send an email campaign. I send a landing page or a webinar campaign. That is not cross-channel engagement. The way to think about it is orchestration of communication. It's actually, we're sending a consistent message across multiple channels. We're going to orchestrate that interaction so it's a consistent brand, it's a consistent message, and it creates that real feel that this company knows what they're doing. This company is engaging with me, and they're trying to make this a consistent experience if I go to their website or if I receive an email or if I visit them on a webinar, etc. That's really important. That's a key takeaway for top performers. So the final diagnosis, and maybe I should have had a picture of Doogie Howser, MD, or something here, but don't try to boil the ocean with personalization. I think more than anything, pick 1 or 2 segments. You do need tools that you can do this with and automate it because it's just going to be nearly impossible to do manually. But even if you are just segmenting off a demographic or a geographic segmentation variable and you create custom content for that audience, you're going to improve email click-throughs, you're going to improve the prospects in your pipeline, et cetera. Think about those 3 R's. Are your messages relevant, reputable, and reactive? And think about the level of personalization your particular organization should have with your prospects. In some industries, it demands more personalization than others. So, you might offend people if you get too personal with them in the initial communications. And then, if you ask prospects and customers for information, use it or don't ask. And not just that, but do ask for information that you need to personalize more effectively. Assumptions are the mother of all, how they makes an A out of you and me. So, on the flip side, if you're asking for the right information, you can personalize far more effectively.